Welcome to the Come Ride With Me podcast. I am your host, Anna Fox, and I guide inquiring equestrians through the muck and mire of the horse world to discover enlightenment in their equine partnership. Here, we focus on fostering a harmonious relationship between rider and horse. Embrace the power of being present to nurture emotionally stable equine partners while you become an astute equestrian who rides with feel. Simplifying the complexities of the riding world, we focus on less is more and take a transformative journey where we vanquish time-worn traditions and pave the way for a new era of horsemanship. I will guide you through this journey and lead you to resources on topics like horse ethology and rider psychophysical training to master the complex physical and mental challenges you and your equine partner will encounter. It's not my goal to train your horse. You can do that, but learning to be a responsible partner is paramount. So what are you waiting for? Come ride with me. Hey Horse Fiends, Anna Fox with Equus Enlightened, and I am here today with Miss Ryan, who we haven't seen in a little bit, and I realized that I hadn't done any video of her lately, so I don't really have a plan for today. I thought we would just see how this goes and how I put all of my parts to work, right? Like being relaxed, energized, and balanced, and being forward, being light off of my aids, being straight, the basic alignment exercise. Right now I'm doing a bit of following because she is a little bit wanting to hang out down in this area. There is another horse out in the field over there, so this is a fun place to hang out, and we're going to take some breaths. All right, Miss Thing, what do you think? Yeah. So a little bit slow going, right? And a little bit wanting to be over here. So maybe what I'm going to do is do a little hind quarter yields. How about we go this way? Come on, come on, come on. Oh. So we're going to come around this way again. That's cool. I'm just going to go faster. Go faster. Oh, good. Doesn't have to trot there, right? But if she does, it's totally fine. I know what's happening. I'm just going to go with it, and then we're going to come back around and see if we can go walking by this spot again without the lag and the looky-loo. Oh, good girl. And then we find something else to look at. But that's okay. Maybe just a little bit unsure today. There's a noise off in the distance there. She's not feeling especially confident today, so I don't want to push her past her comfort level. I want to see if I can follow her a little bit and figure out where we're losing the confidence and then help her gain it back. But when I ask her to go forward, she's going forward. So we've got the energy. What we don't really have, I would say, is the relaxation. Right. So as we look up into the distance, I'm not going to totally get upset about it and be reprimanding, right? There's some noise up in there. I can't see what it is. I'm sure she can't see what it is. Maybe a truck coming down the road. Either way, we'll see. Oh, it's the mower coming down the road. Okay. All right, so mystery solved, right? It's the mower. That's cool. She doesn't really mind the mower once she knows what it is, so we're going to work with that. A lot of times just giving your horses the confidence to figure out what it is that they're seeing or hearing can make a big difference in how they react to something and how they process the information. And by being calm and by learning on your own, not to get stressed out about it, helps teach them how to process and use their more thinking brain. Horses are designed to use their reactive brain in the face of some threat like that. They use their thinking brain when they're interacting with their herd and when they're foraging for food and things like that. But in a stressful situation, they're designed to react. So just being aware and acknowledging that can make things a lot easier. Good. And so now she's definitely got the energy. I would say she's more relaxed, but not quite, right? She's a little bit still like, And this feels to me more like out of the box stiffness than it does worry. So I'm just gonna go for a canter about. Sometimes if you feel like your horse is a little bit sticky, a little bit behind, and they just don't want to go forward, sometimes the canter can help get them thinking forward and get them relaxed. If you're both comfortable cantering, right? Don't just go cantering if it's not something that you normally do. And you'll notice that when I'm cantering her here, I'm not managing her canter other than to steer her a little bit. I am allowing her to go in her natural balance and how she's comfortable right now. And then she starts to relax and stretch her own body out. That tension that you saw when she started in her head and neck, sort of in the base of her shoulder, is very typical Ryan. Yeah, we spent quite a lot of time trying to address that and making that better. So, do a little right lead canter because she asked. Sometimes a canter just makes horses feel better, gets them moving. So, no big deal. I think a lot of people get in their mind that their rides have to go a certain way, and then if that's not what the horse has in mind for the day, it throws them way off, and they can't adapt. And so for me, it's more about what's the horse giving me to work with, right? What are they offering today? And what are they asking? Sometimes they're asking for something. So kind of try to honor those requests and see what we can work out once we've gotten that. Now that she's had her stretch and she's cantered a bit, she's much more, still a little bit stiff in the front, a little bit pulley on the bridle today. Yesterday we did groundwork and really worked on her stretching her top line and doing that in the canter and maintaining it. Because if you watch the video, you will see that sort of bracing in her head and neck and sort of holding her head up, braced at the shoulder there, chest is her way of going. So it's hard for her to stretch, particularly if the canter's gotten quite good trot in the last few years, but the canter is still a trick. Nice bend there, miss. And so we worked on that yesterday.
online, and so it's a bit easier for her right now having to carry a rider to do that. But we also throw some transitions in there because that's a wonderful way to try and build strength in that stretchy way. So you do your transitions in the stretch. So she's going to stretch for us right now at the trot. So what I would do is I'm going to say, can you come down? And she came down, but she did brace a little bit in the front, in the chest. So can you go back up and stay stretchy? Now can you come back down and stay stretchy? Yeah. Right? And I'm not really looking for it to be totally prompt. Like, I don't want a sliding stop. I want her to ease down into it on purpose. I want her to maintain the energy and maintain the stretch. Same thing going up. And so this is what we did essentially at the canter online yesterday. So she could be a bit stiff about that. Other things you need to recognize, right? Like, when you come out and ride your horse, know, like, what have you been doing? What might you be stressing? What have they been doing when they're not being ridden? Are they standing in a stall? Or are they on a track system getting to walk around a lot, or in a big field where they get to walk around a lot? These things are important, and they make a big difference in the horse's health and well-being, mentally as well as physically. So, good girl. Yeah, oh, nice. So she got a little bit up there, a little bit bracy in the chest and the front again. So we'll go walk again and see. Yeah, good. Much better. Very nice. And when she gives me that, I'm not going to ask her to maintain for very long, because I don't want her to resent giving me what I asked for. It's hard, right? Like, it's not easy to, you're not going to see her doing these exercises on her own in the field. So, good girl. And we've definitely not mastered these transitions at the canter. Certainly not from the walk to the canter. So now that I feel like we've got our relaxation, we've got our energy, we've got our balance back, we'll try some canter. We'll try some trot to canter transitions in the stretchy first off. And again, I just want to stress, like, maybe the beginning of the workout doesn't go as you planned it, but that's okay. Like, work with your horse. Don't come out with such a rigid, I have to walk around the rail 1 time in each direction and then trot 3 times in each direction and then canter, or, whatever. Like, yes, have a basic warm-up plan, but if you need to change it, change it. It's not the end of the world. All right, good girl. All right, so that's pretty typical of a reaction for her, to rush it because it's easier. All right, she didn't rush there, but she got bracy, totally normal for her. So, yes, oh, much, much better. Yeah, good girl. Oh. Yeah, good girl. And again, that was really nice. So I am not going to ask her to do it for much else. I won't. Let her just show you your butt if you happen to be watching the video. But some nice yo-yo transitions, back and forth, right? Trot canter, trot canter. It's absolutely wonderful if you can have your horse be able to step up into the trot, step back into the up into the canter from the trot, and then back into the canter, just at ease, and stretching. So many good benefits of that, make your life so much easier down the road. And so we'll see what happens when we go to the right. Right, and there, like even at the trot transition, she did a little bit. So if I feel a little bit of a brace, I'm not going to accept that transition. It's just not good enough. Like, be a perfectionist, a basic perfectionist, and be that picky. That's how your basics get super good. If you're not picky, they don't get good. People are very often, oh, that's good enough. No, not good enough. And I'll stay a little bit off her back here because it's easier for her. I'm letting her canter a little bit, even though she did a pretty nice transition just because she was snorting. So I'll let her get some breaths out, and then we'll try again. Good. And you see how even though she stayed a bit relaxed there, she kind of curled her neck up and sort of put herself in the position. So that is typically what she does. But what she's not doing there is not pushing off of her hind end, right? Then she's bracing the front and sort of the hind end's coming in last. And she's waiting for someone to catch her in the front. Good, better. Right, and I am not going to do that. That's something that, to me, horses need to learn to self-regulate, and they're very capable of it. They regulate their speed on their own when they're turned out in the pasture. So, you know, she can tell by my body language whether or not I'm open for her to go more forward, or, you know, I'm closed off and she should slow down. We've worked enough on this canter work that she knows, you know, that I would prefer her to push off her outside hind leg and go cantering from there. But it's difficult for her, so it's always a work in progress. And now, let's see, she tends to be a little more crooked going to the right as well, which adds a little, right? You see right now, this right shoulder comes out right away. No. Then I'm going to say, shoulder goes over. And you notice that when she braced and brought her right shoulder out, the head came up, she braced against me. It was not pretty. But when I got her shoulder over, then she relaxed her head down, right? So a lot of it is about straightness. When you're talking about roundness and throughness and all of those dressage terms, like if they're not straight, they can't be round and through. The energy is going to be escaping all over the place. So, like I had gotten her shoulders under, and then she decided, oh, well, let me see if I stick my butt out to the right. Maybe I can avoid this little bit of more collected work that you're going to ask me to do right now. It's fine. So maybe, how do we go? In a shoulder in? Or even in a run there. Oh, okay. All right, and so as soon as I shorten her up, I'm gonna get a little bit stiff. It's okay. Come on, there we go. Ooh, yeah. I don't want that. I want them to remain loose, relaxed, supple. as you go, right? You don't want them getting tighter. And she can be very, very sensitive and reactive to things that she doesn't like. So I'm going to play with the relaxation. And then she tries to overachieve. Okay, no. Gotta be straight. No. Okay. Yeah, that's okay.
So she gets a little tense about picking up the canter from that little more collected trot, and she picks up the wrong lead a few times and gets flustered.
Yeah, good. So I can abandon, I go back to my rising trot and be like, okay, let's just trot and see. If that's not gonna work, let's try something else. And give her a little break. So our left side's a little bit better. We'll see how we're going. We'll try. Oh, not bad. It's pretty good for her. Pretty good. So she kind of lurches forward into that transition though, and still a little bracy, which is typical her. So good girl. You have to be very confident with this horse, and yes, good girl. Give her lots of praise because she is not very confident on her own. So, good. Very nice canter. There's your butt. Oh, a little bit. There you go. And like here, that's a pretty collected canter for her and pretty difficult. So she's kind of trying to find ways to wiggle out of it rather than get, aggressive and punishing about it. It's just like, I'm going to try and get her straight again and then get her back to a place where I can get a nice relaxed downward transition. And yeah, good. And then let her get some stretching. Ooh, and some relaxation in. Good. And to me, when I feel her, she gets a little tight or she gets a little crooked, comes a little off the rail, shortens up, humps up her back or her butt or her whatever, like that to me is her communicating to me, this is hard, or I can't do this, or, something doesn't feel good. So I'm not going to punish that. I want that feedback, right? I'm gathering information. That's the first thing that I always have to do when I'm riding, gather the information. And then I can go, all right, why doesn't that feel good to her? What is hard? And how can I make it easier? I don't want things to be hard. I want them to be easy. That's my job, I think, as a person who wants to ride a horse, because she doesn't want me to ride her probably. So, if we are going to be the ones that want to do the riding, then we also need to be the ones who want to make it enjoyable and fun and easy, and not make it hard and get upset and always say that, oh, the horse is doing the wrong thing, or my horse was bad today, or my horse doesn't want to do this, my horse doesn't want to do that. In my mind, that means I have not done my job as a rider. I've not made it simple enough for the horse to do. So I hope that is helpful, and that you can think about that way of thinking and work it into your own program. Even if you don't do it, even if you can't use all of it right away. A lot of times we've got to notice that we're doing things, right? We have to notice that we're getting judgmental about something that the horse is doing. We have to notice that we're getting frustrated if our quote unquote plan isn't going as we wanted it to go. And then we can start to make a change. So the first thing is just to notice what you've got going on, and are you being the best partner for your horse? Are you making things easy enough for them? This thing. And then if you're like, oh gosh, maybe I am too reactive, maybe I do get frustrated, maybe I do get angry, maybe I get tense, then you can start to think about ways to improve that in your own riding. But don't be too hard on yourself.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Come Ride With Me. My goal is to demonstrate to riders that we don't have to do something every second of a ride. We don't have to do things a certain way or at a certain time. Just staying present with your horse and gathering non-judgmental information about how they are going is way more beneficial than overthinking and overworking. If you'd like to learn more about what I do at Equus Enlightened, you can find me at equisenlightened.net or on patreon.com/equisenlightened. You can also find me on social media as Equus Enlightened. I will put all the links in the show notes. And until next time, happy riding. Oh, before you go, please remember to rate, review, and share this pod so others can find it. I would love constructive criticism, but like my mom used to say, if you don't have anything really nice to say, there's no need to say it. Just ride on, my friends. Have a great week.